known on location of your emergency?
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address?
In the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students were brutally murdered in their off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho. Madison Mogen, 21, Kaylee Goncalves, 21, Xana Kernodle, 20, Ethan Chapin, 20. 4 young lives with promising futures, gone in an instant. This is the story of their tragic deaths, the investigation that captivated a nation, and Bryan Christopher Kohberger, the man who would eventually plead guilty to these horrific crimes. The 3-story house on King Road was home to 5 female University of Idaho students. Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogen, best friends since 6th grade, lived on the 3rd floor. Both were 21-year-old seniors with bright futures ahead. Madison was studying marketing and worked at a local restaurant. Kaylee was set to graduate early and had already secured a job in Texas. On the 2nd floor lived Xana Kernodle and Dylan Mortensen. Xana, a 20-year-old junior studying marketing, also worked at the same restaurant as Madison. That night, her boyfriend Ethan Chapin was staying over. Ethan, a 20-year-old sophomore, was a triplet close to his family and a member of the Sigma Chi fraternity. The 1st floor was home to Bethany Funk, the 5th roommate. Both Bethany and Dylan would survive that horrific night.
Tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi, this is
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, you gotta go check. But we have to. She's not waking.
November 12th began as a typical Saturday night. Ethan and Xana attended a fraternity party, while Kaylee and Madison went to a downtown bar. The surviving roommates returned home around 1 a.m. Ethan and Xana arrived at 1:45 a.m., with Kaylee and Madison following at 1:56 a.m. By 2 a.m., everyone was home. Investigators believe the murders occurred between 4 and 4:25 a.m. Dylan Mortensen was awakened by noises. She heard someone say, "There's someone here," followed by crying from Xana's room. Then an unfamiliar male voice said, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." When Dylan opened her door a 3rd time, she saw a figure in black clothing and a mask walking toward her. The man walked past her and exited through the kitchen door. Frozen in shock, Dylan locked herself in her room. At 4:26 a.m., Dylan went downstairs to join Bethany. On the way, she saw Xana on her bedroom floor, but thought she might be intoxicated. The 2 survivors locked themselves in Bethany's room and spent hours trying to contact their roommates. At 11:58 a.m., nearly 8 hours later, they called 911 for an unconscious person. police arrived to find all 4 students dead. Xana and Ethan were in her second-floor bedroom. Kaylee and Madison were found together in Madison's bed on the 3rd floor. All had been stabbed to death. Xana had over 50 stab wounds, many defensive. Kaylee had over 20 stab wounds plus other injuries. A tan leather knife sheath was found on Madison's bed, the crucial piece of evidence that would break the case. The murder weapon itself was never recovered. The Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police, and FBI launched a massive investigation with nearly 130 personnel. Over 15,000 tips poured in from the public.
That the autopsies confirmed the identity of the 4 victims, determined the cause and manner of death as homicide by stabbing, and determined that it was likely all 4 victims who were asleep during the attack. Some of the victims had defensive wounds, and each victim was stabbed multiple times. There was no sign of sexual assault.
Based on details at the scene, we believe this was an isolated, targeted attack on our victims.
Initially, police said there was no threat to the community, but quickly reversed course. The college town, which hadn't seen a murder since 2015, was gripped with fear. Students fled early for Thanksgiving break. DNA on the knife sheath didn't match anyone in national databases. Investigators turned to investigative genetic genealogy, using public DNA databases to identify potential family members. The FBI eventually found a DNA match that would lead them to their suspect. Surveillance footage showed a white Hyundai Elantra making multiple passes near the victim's home around the murder time. At 4:04 a.m., it returned for a 4th time. At 4:20 a.m., it sped away from the neighborhood.
When the murders first occurred, no one knew what was happening. Was a madman on the loose? Would he go into the town? Was he just aiming at the students?
Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana were truly the nicest people.
We'd gotten a vandal alert and it said homicide on King Road. I didn't think anything of it.
That's the last thing you ever think's going to happen to your friends.
Investigators identified Bryan Christopher Kohberger, a 28-year-old PhD criminology student at Washington State University, just 8 miles from Moscow, as a person of interest. Cell phone data showed his phone went dark in Pullman around 2:47 a.m. on November 13th, then reconnected south of Moscow around 4:48 a.m. His phone had also pinged near the victim's home at least 12 times between June and November. Police surveilled Kohberger at his parents' Pennsylvania home during the holidays. They watched him wearing surgical gloves while handling trash. DNA from that trash matched the DNA on the knife sheath.
Yes.
Hello?
How you doing?
How y'all doing today? Good, good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could.
Sure.
See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay. Cool. Where are you headed?
We're going to actually find the. Well, we're coming from WSU, and we're standing earlier.
What's WSU?
What? Yeah, I go to the university basically.
On December 30th, 2022, 7 weeks after the murders, Bryan Kohberger was arrested. Bryan Kohberger was pursuing a PhD in criminology at Washington State University and worked as a teaching assistant. Less than 2 weeks before the murders, faculty met with him concerning behavior toward women. He was terminated from his teaching position on December 19th. Kohberger had written about mental health challenges online. His defense team later claimed he had autism spectrum disorder.
Notably, traffic stop footage from August 2022 showed Kohberger driving the same white Hyundai Elantra that would be linked to the murders, connecting him to the area months before the killings.
So we're okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University?
Yeah.
And you're going where? Oh.
We're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're slightly punchy because we're driving for hours.
Days.
Hours to drive. Well, almost a day.
Okay. And what'd you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
Yeah,
something?
there was the mass shooting and everything. We don't know if it's
where?
This was at now.
After his arrest, Kohberger was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. He initially stood silent at his arraignment, so the judge entered not guilty pleas on his behalf. Prosecutors announced they would seek the death penalty. The case dragged on for over 2 years. Kohberger's defense fought to remove the death penalty, filed motions to dismiss the indictment, and successfully moved the trial from Latah County to Boise.
Mm-hmm. So y'all work at the university there? Or?
I actually do work there.
Oh.
He was PhD criminal.
Okay. Okay.
The defense claimed Kohberger had no connection to the victims and was simply out for a late-night drive. They tried to introduce alternate perpetrator theories, but the judge rejected these as speculation. Prosecutors revealed Kohberger had purchased a knife matching the sheath found at the scene approximately 8 months before the murders, suggesting premeditation.
You're evil. There's no place for you in heaven. You took our children. You are gonna suffer, man.
He stole parts of me I may never get back. He took the version of me who didn't constantly ask, what if it happens again? What if next time I don't survive?
The King Road house was demolished in December 2023, despite objections from some victims' families who believed it held evidentiary value. On June 30, 2025, in a shocking announcement, Kohberger agreed to a plea deal. The victims' families received letters informing them of the agreement. Many felt blindsided. On July 2, 2025, Kohberger pleaded guilty to all charges. When Judge Stephen Hippler asked, "Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?" Kohberger replied, "Yes." The deal meant Kohberger would avoid the death penalty in exchange for 4 consecutive life sentences without parole, plus 10 years for burglary. He waived his right to appeal.
You hadn't attacked them in their sleep, in the middle of the night, like a pedophile, Kaylee would have kicked your... Thank you.
Thank you.
The plea divided victims' families. Kaylee's father, Steve Goncalves, said he felt let down and that the state had made a deal with the devil. His family wanted full details, including the murder weapon's location. However, Madison Mogen's family supported the agreement, saying they had closure.